I'm excited because today we're checking out a brand new fragrance flanker from the house of Initio that I did not expect. I didn't see it coming, and frankly, this one really surprised me. We're looking at Initio's Oud for Greatness Neo. So is this going to be worth the price tag right now? Should you wait around until the Middle Eastern fragrances pop up mimicking this fragrance DNA? I bought this one, so hopefully I can answer some of those questions. So stick around, make yourself comfortable, and let's jump right in. Welcome to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Eli with Common Sense, and we're checking out Initio's Oud for Greatness Neo. Now, this fragrance is, again, a fragrance flanker to the original Oud for Greatness. So this basically takes that original DNA and makes it a much more modern kind of spring and summer twist to it. So let's get into it. Like all of the Initio fragrances, you have this little sleeve. Oh, that's always so satisfying. So as you can see, the Oud for Greatness label at the bottom and the eye has this beautiful green hue to it. Reminds me of the Initio Oud for Happiness bottle, but this is not Oud for Happiness. This is Initio Oud for Greatness Neo. Neo actually translates to new, and so Initio Neo, it's that Oud for Greatness, but new. That's basically what it is. I was a little concerned because I actually purchased this one for about 225 bucks. I think it was from Olfactive LLC. I had never heard of that brand before, and I decided to bite the bullet and try that fragrance company, but it showed up about 4 or 5 days after I bought it. No problems whatsoever. It was a great price, and I can say with certainty that it is a good buying experience. And I am going to be giving my honest opinion. I'm not paid. This is going to be my honest review on this fragrance, but I gotta say, this one checked all of the boxes in a fragrance that I want, and it really did blow my mind. This one just has a simple note breakdown. It's got agarwood, bergamot, lavender, au per, as they're calling it, saffron, fir balsam, and musk. So it's gonna share a lot of that nice spice and oud from the agarwood from the original Oud for Greatness, but it's going to update it a little bit, and it's gonna add a little bit of a creamy, musky fruitiness. The bergamot's really sweet, and it does give off that kind of Oud for Happiness vibe, but this doesn't have the licorice in there. It's definitely different from that fragrance and smells more like the Oud for Greatness with a more uplifting twist. In fact, the more that I smell this fragrance, it reminds me a lot of Parfums de Marly's Haltan. So it has that really nice green coniferous vibe. It's got some sweetness, a little bit of spice, but really the saffron and the lavender and agarwood in this just smells so incredible and just very intoxicating. There's a very interesting peppery, woody quality from the agarwood and I think some of that fir balsam, but it's gonna remind you a little bit of a Christmas kind of wintertime fragrance, especially from that fir, because it gives off that forest-like vibe. And I'm really glad that they added that because it's a nice deviation from that real spicy Oud for Greatness. But this one's not gonna be as animalistic as the original, and I feel like the bergamot gives it a more uplifting approach to it. It's not going to be a huge in-your-face citrus kind of grapefruit effervescent sweetness. It's going to be a subtle but very creamy and lactonic bergamot and musk. There's also a heavy dose of tonka beans, some benzoin, and really nice ambery warm vanillic notes in this. So it just smells so much smoother and more mass pleasing than the original one, with that modern kind of tonka bean nuttiness that you're kind of seeing a lot in the fragrance trends nowadays. Once this dries down, you lose a lot of the kind of resinous fir balsam that they use in this, and it becomes a more creamy wood. It's kind of strange because the bergamot comes out a little bit more in the dry down than it does in the opening. So you have that bergamot, you have the musk, and you also have those really creamy notes that just make it smell very supple, soft, and luxurious. Yeah, it almost has a beautiful cinnamon cardamom-esque spice in the dry down, and it just smells absolutely heavenly. It really does just smell like a creamy cinnamon milky fragrance, and it is so irresistible. I want to say this one is going to be great for all year round because in the colder weather, the fir and the oud and the saffron are definitely going to push out a little bit more, and in the summer weather, at least when I've been testing it, the bergamot and the creamy ambery woods leap off of your skin and leave this beautiful, refreshing, slightly spicy and creamy scent bubble around you, and people are going to notice you for sure. It's really funny because I've only worn this fragrance a couple times and I received 2 compliments each time that I ended up wearing it out. And one of them was actually my buddy Francesco, and I actually featured him on the channel. If you want to check out that video up here, he ranked a couple fragrances and we did a couple videos together, but he was a beginner, but I was really proud of him because he smelled me and he was like, dude, what is that? Do you have something with oud in it? Because he loves woody oud fragrances and he's learning what he likes in fragrance. And so I was super proud of him because I was like, yes, dude, you smell the oud and my crippling fragrance addiction is rubbing off on you. In terms of projection, you're going to have a nice steady fragrance bubble and sillage around you as you're walking around. It is super strong and dense, and I feel like you can go a little bit nose blind, so you may only need about 3 or 4 sprays of this stuff, and you're going to be lasting a good 4 to 5 hours of projection. So you are going to have people smelling you, and you know, it's been about 3 hours or so since I sprayed it on and I still got compliments. So even though I felt like it was starting to mellow down, it was still going strong and people were commenting on it. In terms of longevity, I got about 12 hours of this stuff and I can still smell it on some of the clothes that I wore the original time that I wore the fragrance. So really strong stuff. I know some people were worried about the projection and the longevity in comparison to the original, but I haven't had any issues. In fact, I would dare say that it lasts a little bit longer than the original. So all in all, this is going to be a very necessary upgrade from the original Oud for Greatness. So if you already own Oud for Greatness, you know, it's still going to give you that same definite vibe, that spicy kind of agar wood, but it's not going to be as animalistic and it's not going to be as dense. It's still going to be a nice creamy oriental fragrance, but it does it in a little bit more of a fresh light. And I think the bergamot is going to be a nice subtle sweetness to it. And yeah, it's going to be perfect for any occasion. So ever since this was released, you know that Lattafa and Fragrance World are rushing on it. They are analyzing the juice as we speak probably, and they are working on their own version. But I gotta say, I'm very satisfied at how this one turned out, and it's one of my favorite blind buys of this year, and I really don't have any complaints with this fragrance. It's funny because the more that I smell this fragrance, I feel like it really puts my mind at ease and it really puts me in a fun, just lighthearted mood. So I almost feel like this one should have been named Oud for Happiness. Like they should have reserved that fragrance name for this juice. But it's just a really nice, fun, mountainous kind of woody fragrance with a nice creamy musk that is going to have people turn their heads when they smell you. So if you're really looking for an easy to wear, just blind grab fragrance for any time, you know, you like that original DNA and you want something that's going to be a little bit less in your face, a little bit less distracting, then definitely go for this one. And that one is Initio's Oud for Greatness Neo. So let me know down in the comments if you've tried this fragrance or if you think there are any other fragrances that might mimic this same exact thing, or even layer combinations. I bet you if you layered maybe Initio Musk Therapy and maybe the Oud for Greatness, you might get something similar. So that's a fun challenge. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing week. I've been Eli with Common Sense. Until the next time, bye-bye.